ok, ça suffit. That's probably enough. Ok, bonsoir, merci pour regarder la vidéo. C'est la semaine 5 du français pour les débutants. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's week 5. Et c'est le week-end, c'est vendredi, it's Friday. Time to dance, time to party. J'aime la danse. I like dancing, that's why I've been waiting to get that little intro in there. So that song, was part of your homework from a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago actually. Ottawan is the name of the band, and D-I-S-C-O is the French title of the French version of the song Disco. So that song was packed full of adjectives, some quite weird ones, but nevertheless you guys seem to have remembered them, so bravo, c'est très bien. Okay, so what did we do this week? Well, this week was le jour de Saint-Valentin, so it was, here's a clue, these little hearts, so it was Valentine's Day on Wednesday. Thank you so much to those of you who came along. Some of you, thank you for letting me know if you couldn't come. I understand that some of you had lots of work on, or you were just going out for a meal for Valentine's Day, so I hope you had a good evening. So, so in the class, we started off, I gave everyone a little heart, different colours, quite roughly cut out, but recycled paper, just so you know. And on those hearts, I asked you to write 3 things. Écrivez 3 choses que vous aimez. 3 things that you like, que vous aimez. So I gave some examples. So here's mine. Quite scruffy handwriting. I'll show you if I can get close up. Can you see that? Oui? Okay, donc what does it say? What does it say? I was going to say. Okay, so it says, j'aime la danse. J'aime la danse. C'est le week-end. J'aime les renards. Okay, that's an animal in the plural. Les renards. Les renards. And the last one, j'aime, this is a band, j'aime Belle and Sebastian. Okay, so 3 things about me that I like. J'aime la danse. J'aime les renards. Here is a little picture clue. Alors, le renard, it's a fox. The fox. So, les renards, L-E-S, let me just move this out of the way. Les renards is foxes, and they are my favourite animal. I think they're beautiful, and they're mysterious, and they're spiritual, and they also feature in some of my favourite stories and fairy tales, that kind of thing. So, les renards, let's find a pen. Un stylo rouge, parce que les renards, you know, they're red, so let's use red. Les, L-E-S, les, remember that means something that's a noun that's plural is going to follow this. Les renards. There's an S on the end, but we don't pronounce that generally at the end of a plural noun. Sometimes we do, but I'll show you examples of that later in the course. So here we have le renard. So le renard. Can you see that on the board? I think I'll zoom in a little bit, still trying to perfect whether you can see it or not. Le renard, which becomes les renards in the plural. So here's your noun, and here's your definite article. I'll just put def art. Le. Now, what do you remember about le? Le and la. La balle. La balle. Le stylo, the pen. So, le and la, the difference between them is basically that le comes before nouns that are singular and masculine. So, remember that nouns in French have a gender, which doesn't really happen in the English language. Le comes before a masculine noun, so that's a masculine, I'll put a little M, singular noun, because we're talking about one fox, the fox. Pourtant, however, Les renards is the foxes. It's plural. So even though this is a masculine noun, les will come before it because it goes in front of plural nouns, whether they're masculine or feminine. Let's have a think. So some other masculine nouns. Oh, here, voila. One of my students wrote down, j'aime les chats. In fact, having spoken with my students during the lesson, I found out that all of us like les chats. Qu'est-ce que c'est les chats? What is it? What does it mean? Les chats? Well, actually, these are plural. Again, a masculine noun, and it's another animal. So les chats is cats. Lots of us like cats. Moi, j'aime beaucoup les chats. I really like cats. I think they're sweet. Another one on that little heart, I think that was Jill's. J'aime les chiens. Les chiens. Les chiens. Les chats et les chiens. Cats and dogs. Brilliant. So we've got two CHs at the beginning here. Chat et chien. So that's always going to be a sh sound, like kind of Charlotte. C'est moi. It's me, isn't it? And in front of these, let me just move the board out of the way. Go into the corner. Dans le coin, in the corner. So in front of these sentences, the things that you like, you wrote this. J'aime. J'aime. Je apostrophe aime. J'aime. So j'aime means I like. Next up we have, so I asked you to put three things, so you put some animals. We had an interesting animal actually. So I'm going to put it in, first of all, the singular. Li-bou. I tried to draw one of these to give you a clue as to what it meant in class, but I did a terrible job. And in fact, this here, I should be able to draw one of these. Li-bou, so that means the owl. Owl, like the bird, with the big eyes and the cute little faces and fluffy wings. Li-bou. So if we wanted to say, I like owls, that's what we'd normally say, isn't it? We put it in the plural rather than I like the owl. Unless we're talking about a specific one owl that you can see over there, or a famous owl, for example. But here we're going to be putting it in the plural. So here we have renard, chat et chien avec S à la fin, with an S at the end, because that's what we do in English, isn't it? Just like in French, we often put an S at the end. But here is a word where we don't put an S, we actually put an X. 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 L apostrophe H-I-B-O-U-X. Hibou. So we don't pronounce it ibooks. No. Hibou. It sounds, oh, excusez-moi. Les hiboux, parce que c'est pluriel. Les hiboux. So in the singular, this was just L apostrophe hibou. We don't really pronounce that H, it's kind of just like a vowel. So when we've got les in front of it, because we have an S followed by, in effect, what functions, a letter that functions as a vowel, we pronounce that S, and that's called a liaison. Les hiboux, as if it's sort of together. Les hiboux. Donc, par exemple, la phrase entière, the whole phrase, the whole sentence. J'aime les hiboux. Et c'est vrai. It's true. Moi, j'aime les hiboux. Moi, I like owls too. Yeah, so we had lots of good examples of things that you liked here. Oh yeah, and some music. So I learned a little bit about my students, and I actually had some music recommendations. So I'm yet to actually check this out, David, but I'll give you an example of one thing that David wrote in his likes. That was part of the homework. So this was, for anyone who wasn't in the class, my homework, or part of the homework, was to read the handout from week 4, semaine 4, last week, la semaine dernière, last week. So let me see if I can show you roughly what that was. So actually it's this bit here with all the boxes. In each box, write down an example of something you like. So music, an animal, a town or a place, a film or a programme, a hobby or a pastime, and a famous person. So you actually did that for things you like and then also things that you don't really like. So that was quite interesting, finding out about those things. Now, I noticed in some of the things that you wrote on your hearts at the beginning of the lesson and some of the things you wrote on your homework, something which I think I didn't explain properly, so let me explain that. And then we'll get on to the music recommendation. So in box 1 on page 2, page 2, from week 4, semaine 4, I asked you to write in the box something along the lines of this. J'aime la musique de. J'aime la musique de. Now, some of your examples in your homework were things like j'aime la musique de rock, or j'aime la musique de. Oh, excusez-moi, didn't work, did it? J'aime la musique de country. Now, I probably didn't explain this properly because that's not quite how we say that. I like rock music, I like country music, I like reggae, etc., and metal. When you see that de basically means of or from, depending on the context. So, j'aime la musique de, par exemple, de Belle and Sebastian. The reason I mention that group, apart from the fact that I absolutely love them, is that they are playing in Cardiff next month and I intend to go, so hopefully I will. We'll see. J'espère que oui, I hope so. J'aime la musique de Belle and Sebastian. So when you say j'aime la musique de, you will follow it either by a band name, Belle and Sebastian, the Rolling Stones, Noir Désir, Edith Piaf, etc. Or an individual singer's name. So we had an example from David. J'aime la musique de, and then who was it? Alexis, I think Alexis Murdoch. Now, I didn't mention this in class actually, but we have this DE, la musique de Alexis Murdoch. Because the name of this musician starts with an A, which is a vowel, then what we would do here is we would take that E away and we would put an apostrophe. J'aime la musique d'Alexis Murdoch. That's with the French accent. J'aime la musique d'Alexis Murdoch. Okay, so it's that DE, which means of or from or music by so and so, is similar to the J apostrophe, because J apostrophe would have, well, it replaces je, and here instead of having de we have D apostrophe, because it's hard to say de and then follow it by something that begins with a vowel. But that was a recommendation, so thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, David. David, I really appreciate recommendations because I always want to listen to new music. And you said I'd like that, so j'espère que oui, I hope so. J'espère que oui, alors. C'est très bien. So yes, I found out about who you like, famous people as well. Well, there was one that people didn't like. I won't mention that. I don't want to get into any trouble on the internet, but let's see one other thing. So this I thought was really clever. So film titles. So Robin, you gave me the title of a film that you liked, and you actually found a French kind of translation of it. Let's see if the other people watching and the students who didn't come can guess what it is. So Robin said, j'aime, I like. This was so good. J'aime le, remember this is a film title, le bon, le méchant, et le laid. So, le bon, le méchant, et le laid. As it happens, we've got 3 adjectives there. Bon, like bonjour or bonsoir, the good. Le méchant basically means the bad or the wicked. The good, the bad, and the, any idea what laid is? The good, the bad, and the ugly. C'est un film avec Clint Eastwood, et j'adore Clint Eastwood. Il est très beau. I really, really like him, so good choice. So often, excuse me, often film titles have a translated name, and they don't always correspond exactly to the English. However, that one is a good example. C'est un bon exemple. So we looked at those things that you like. Let's have a look. Can you see me there? Wait. Okay. Next thing that we did. Well, we did a few things in class. The next thing that we did was we went over the 1 to 10. You guys were very, very good at that. And also we looked at the list of, or we referred to lots of different nouns. So there was this, last week I used this list. Remember that list? List of nouns? Common nouns. We had things like le livre, the book, la chaise, the chair, le stylo, la porte, the door, le bar, very important, bar, le papier, paper, l'hôtel, l'hôpital, etc. So we didn't spend too much time talking about it, but whenever a noun cropped up, if it was le livre, for example, we had to try and remember that the masculine definite article here, well, le basically tells you that that's a masculine noun. So, kind of by osmosis, I was just checking to see whether you could decipher how we would say a book, or a chair, a door, etc. So, le livre, the book, becomes un livre. Masculine, the, masculine a, or one, like 1, 2, 3, 1, a. La, which one we have? La porte, the door, becomes une porte, a door. So une and la are both indications that these nouns are feminine. Le and un, indications that both of these are masculine. And so if you know that it's le livre and you want to say a book, you say un livre. If you know it's la porte and you want to say a door, une porte. Une, which rhymes with lune. Remember we looked at that word last week. Lune, la lune, the moon, or une lune, a moon. So une lune, maybe you can remember that. Remember that's the way you say a feminine noun. Okay, fantastique, c'est fantastique. So then, at some point in the lesson, what I did was I introduced some new adjectives. So I'm going to move the camera over here, maybe zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we're currently on here. That's in the alphabet because I did my little song and dance number at the beginning. But somewhere on here, hopefully I can find it. I think it's... No, oh, this is up. This is up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 new adjectives, and I'm going to zoom in a wee bit. Actually, I'll bring the ball closer. C'est plus facile. It's easier. Voila. Okay, so I'm going to introduce these words, and there was a specific reason I was introducing these. So the first one is joyeux. Joyeux. It means joyous or happy or cheerful. It's a very positive word. So joyeux. Now, if you're using any adjective to describe a lady or something feminine, like a song, une chanson, for example, then this adjective really needs to change in the way it's written and the way it's said. So in order for it to agree in terms of gender with the noun or the person it's describing. So joyeux would describe something masculine or a man, a happy man. Joyeuse, so instead of e at the end, we have euse. In fact, I'll show you what the whole thing looks like. Can you see it there? Joyeuse. Joyeuse. So that, par exemple, la femme est joyeuse. The lady or the woman is joyful. L'homme est joyeux. The man is joyful or happy. Gamin. Gamin. So these are all masculine, remember, masculine adjectives. So we had joyful or happy. We have gamin, which means youthful. It's a nice word. Gamin. I and the N is pronounced un. Gamin. So if we're talking about the man is youthful, l'homme est gamin. Mais, however, or but, la femme, the woman, est gamine. So in the feminine you add an E and it changes it from gamin, gamin, to gamine, youthful. Alors, ici, c'est un adjectif qui marche pour les hommes ou les femmes. So it's an adjective that works for either men or women. So this one doesn't change. Idéaliste. Idéaliste. E accent aigu. Whenever you see an accent aigu over an E, an acute accent, it's an A sound. Idéaliste. Idealistic. Par exemple, moi, je suis idéaliste. Always optimistic, always full of hope. So yes, often, as in the song Disco, that disco song, there were lots of adjectives that had an E at the end. So if you're just describing a man or a woman, or a masculine noun or a feminine noun, often they just don't change. For example, there's irrésistible. Irrésistible. Donc, il est irrésistible. Elle est irrésistible. He is irresistible. She is irresistible. Okay? You could also be talking about something like le gâteau, the cake. Le gâteau est irrésistible. Oh, the cake is irresistible. Here we have another word, lumineux. So we've seen that E in joyeux. Lumineux. This means, this is a really pretty word, it means luminous, full of light, or light emitting, like radiant. Yeah, radiant's probably a good one. Luminous, radiant, giving off a good glow. So this is a masculine noun. Il est lumineux. He is radiant. Elle est lumineuse. Lumineuse. Joyeuse. So you can see that things that have an E in the masculine form of the adjective go to euse if you're describing something using the feminine form. Alors, loyal. Loyal. So in joyeux, joyeux, instead of saying joy, like in English, joy, we would say joyeux, joyeux. Loyal, loyal. So with an O and a Y, it becomes like an OI sound. Loyal, well, it's the same as the English, loyal. Pourtant, however, in the feminine, we add an E. So loyal. Elle est loyale. She is loyal or faithful. Il est loyal. He is loyal or faithful. So the reason I put these words here, there was a specific meaning to it. Joyeux functions, or it appears in the Happy Birthday song. So under here I've got 4 lines with more or less the same thing written. Let me just see if you can see that. Joyeux anniversaire, oui. Okay, let's get down a little bit. Voila. So, in this week's class we had a birthday amongst one of our students. So Jill, it was you, and while she was getting a drink, I told everyone we're going to sing happy birthday to her in French because it was her daughter Ruby's idea. Ruby's a fab idea, une bonne idée, très bien, merci. So I've put joyeux here because we needed to know how to say it so that we could sing happy birthday. But if you noticed, I wonder if you did, we have Jill's name spelt out with these adjectives at the beginning, that gamine, idéaliste, lumineuse, loyale. So we have G-I-L-L, Jill. Little subliminal message for you there. So let's have a look at how we would sing Happy Birthday. So there is a sort of longer, more a bit more complex way of singing that in French, but basically we use the same tune as in English. So happy birthday to you, da 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 da, ba 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 da, ba ba da ba ba ba. So it's pretty easy. This is a simple version. Joyeux, happy or joyful. Anniversaire. It looks like anniversary, doesn't it? That's because it's marking a year of a special occasion. Donc, so, joyeux anniversaire. Joyeux anniversaire. I can't remember what I wrote on the board that had a liaison. I think it was les hiboux. So we had les with an S at the end, and then hiboux with an H, which is a bit like a vowel. So we had to pronounce the S. Les hiboux. Here it's the same with an X, followed by the vowel A. Joyeux anniversaire. So it sounds a little bit like a sort of S. Joyeux anniversaire. So, normally, or often, if you're singing happy birthday to someone en français, you'd sing 2 lines, happy birthday, joyeux anniversaire, joyeux anniversaire. But for the 3rd line, you pop someone's first name at the end. So let me just show you that. Let me zoom in a little bit. Move that camera down a wee bit. So hopefully you can see this. Prénom. Prénom in brackets, in parentheses here, means first name. So, for example, it was Jill's birthday this week, so we put in Jill. And I'm going to show you how we sing this. So, I'll zoom out a bit. Out, please. Donc, après 3, je chante. After 3, I'll sing. 1, 2, 3. Joyeux anniversaire. Joyeux anniversaire, joyeux anniversaire, prénom ou Jill. Joyeux anniversaire. Whee! Bravo! So that's how you sing happy birthday. Well done, guys. I'm so pleased that you made that effort and played along with me, and wish Jill a very happy birthday because she seems like a very lovely lady. And it was a big effort to come along to my class on a Wednesday when it's also Valentine's Day, so bravo Jill, I like it, thank you. Yeah, so what did we do after that? So we looked at how you say I like something, and then we sang happy birthday. We looked at some of these new adjectives and a brief introduction to how you change the adjectives depending on whether you're talking about a man or a woman or a masculine thing or a feminine thing. Because euse, something that ends with an E in the masculine has often an sorry, ends with an N in the masculine, has an E in the feminine, which changes the pronunciation. Adjectives like idéaliste, which end with an E, an E at the end, often don't change. Some of them just add an E, and then again we've got EUX, changes to EUS, EUS. That takes me on to the handout I gave out for week 5. I'll give you a little, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but basically, the reason I put this vocabulary on this sheet is because we're going to play a game. The guys who are in the class this week, you've got a little sneak peek of what the game will be. But the students who weren't there this week and who are coming along next week, well, you know, it's going to be a bit of a surprise to you what we do. So, we looked at les pays. Les pays du Royaume-Uni. The countries in the United Kingdom. So we looked at the names of the countries. This is where you get to see my fantastic art skills. So I did something like this. So this is very, very basic. C'est très simple, very simple. You see over there? Okay, so voilà, c'est l'Écosse. Et ça, c'est l'Angleterre, comme ça. Angleterre. Ça, c'est Pays de Galles. Et là, c'est Irlande. Irlande, Pays de Galles. C'est mon pays. Écosse, Angleterre. So, what am I talking about? That very, very simple drawing there. I don't know what it looks like, but this is meant to be my Britain. So, let's have a little look. We've got Écosse, Scotland, E with an accent aigu, Écosse, l'Écosse. Here we have l'Angleterre, l'Angleterre, the land of the Angles, if you like, the land of, or the earth of the Angles, people from the past. If you know your history, you'll understand that. Here we have le pays de, le pays means the country, de, well we saw that earlier, didn't we? La musique de Belle and Sebastian, the music of Belle and Sebastian. Belle and Sebastian's music. Le pays de Galles. Et de Galles. Wales. It's my little town, my country. Here we have l'Irlande. Irlande. Ireland, Wales, England, Scotland. All together they make the United Kingdom. So, le Royaume, that's a U, Royaume-Uni. Right, let's have a look at this. So, uni means united, and Royaume means kingdom. So, here's that O-Y sound, Royaume. We saw it in joyeux. It's also in, that's an adjective. We also saw it in the verb from a few weeks ago. Voyager. Voyager. Joyeux. Royaume. Well, excusez-moi. Royaume. Incidentally, if you have time, go and check out a song. It's one of my favourites. Des années 80, from the 80s. And it's called Voyage, Voyage, and it's from a band called Noir Désir, Black Desire. Fantastic song. In fact, I recently contributed some money to my friend who's running the London Marathon for a diabetes charity, and with my donation I gave her this song that she could listen to as part of her playlist. So in fact, I'll try and put a link down. So that's Claire Adams from Love Scene Photography, who's raising money from JDRF, which is a charity for diabetes, and she's also organising an event called the Great Gatsby Ball, and that's happening on the 23rd of March this year. It's going to be a great event with lots of Gatsby themed 1920s music and whatnot. So I'll try and remember to put a link to that. But check out that song, Voyage, Voyage. So, they're the countries. Getting up to 36 minutes now, so we'll see how long this takes. I'll try and go through quickly. So, l'Angleterre, England, le Pays de Galles, Wales, l'Irlande, Ireland, l'Écosse, Scotland, and le Royaume-Uni, the United Kingdom, the Kingdom United, if you like. So what we did then is we looked at nationalities. Should I put them on the board or shall I put them on? So, nationalities. I'll give you those as quickly as I can, and I think you'll figure out. This is similar to the joyeux, joyeuse, gamin, gamine. So, these are les nationalités, les nationalités, nationalities. We'll just, I mean, I've also got French and Italian on here, as well as English, Welsh, Irish and Scottish, because it's currently the Six Nations rugby sort of championships tournament. I don't know what the right word is. So I've got those 6 on there, but I also have American and British. So let me just write these down for you. I'll zoom in a wee bit. Okay. So here we have the word anglais, et, like in s'il vous plaît, AI, masculin, féminin. Anglaise. So the difference between, like, if I were English, I would say je suis anglaise. I would pronounce that S-E at the end, or just the S really. Anglaise. Anglais. If I was a man, I'd say je suis anglais. But I'm a woman, so I would say je suis anglaise. Anglaise. So that's the nationality English if you're a man, and English if you're a girl. So the next one, Gallois. So this comes from Angleterre, England. Gallois comes from Pays de Galles, the country of the Gauls, or the Gaelic. Gallois. Galloise. Galloise. Ooh, we've got a wa. Was. Remember, bonsoir. Voilà. So that's Welsh. Irlandais. Irlandais. Irland. Can you guess what it is? Irlandaise. Irlandaise. Anglaise, galloise, irlandaise. Anglaise like crème anglaise. Custard. La crème anglaise. So, la crème anglaise is a feminine noun, la crème. And this adjective anglaise follows the noun la crème. La crème, cream, anglaise. So it tells you that that is an English type of cream, and basically it's what we call custard. Anglais, gallois, irlandais, anglaise, galloise, irlandaise. What's missing? Qu'est-ce qu'il manque? What's missing? Oui, écossais. Et deux C, non, one C. Oh, deux S. A-I-S. Et, wa, e. So they all look quite similar, don't they? Écossaise. Écossaise. If I were a Scottish lady, I would say je suis écossaise. I pronounce that S-E at the end. Okay, this is a bit different. So if you're from America, I will tell you the word for America, but I'll tell you in a minute. So if you're American, Américain. Américain. That's if you're a man. If I were American, I would say je suis américaine, because that E on the end, which you have to add if you're a lady, so that the adjectives agrees with your gender, then that changes américain to américaine. Américaine. Ah oui, this one's quite simple because it's actually the same whether you're a man or a woman. What I just need to check is whether this has two T's. Sorry about the dead air for a second, but I'm just going on to my, I'll do it on here. I'm going to go onto my word reference app. Just bring the screen up a little bit. So, the word I'm going to put down is the adjective British. And even though I think I know how it's spelled, I'm just going to check for the sake of it. So, I'm going to type in British. Voila. Okay, so let me show you. I'm using this app more on my phone lately. So here we have the word reference app. I wonder if I can pinch it and show you larger. Alors, voilà. L'adjectif oh, attends, c'est difficile à voir. C'est oh, is it? Britannique. Alors, B-R-I-T-A-N-N. Wait, okay, d'accord. I was right. Britannique. That means British. Britannique, and this is the one that's the same whether you're a man or woman. So Britannique, again, it's an adjective that already ends with an E in the masculine. So often, like idéaliste, idealistic, or irrésistible, irresistible, it's already got an E at the end. So we don't need to add one for that. It's exactly the same. So let me just have a look. So if you're American, you can say Amérique if you're talking about the country, but that also kind of talks about the continent America. So if you wanted to say you were from the United States, this is how you would write that country. Les, right, because we're talking about the United States, plural. Les États, les États unis, les États unis. État, the United States. So the country is the United States, les États unis. The adjective describing the nationality is américain, if you're a man, pour un homme. Américaine, pour une femme. So again, let me get down a little bit. Oh, you can even see that. Excusez-moi, voilà. Les États-Unis. So what I was saying there is pour un homme, for a man, and then pour une femme, pour une femme, pour un homme, for a woman. So, une femme. Unsurprisingly, the word woman, the noun, is a feminine noun, and the word homme, man, is a masculine noun. Très bien, okay, cool. So, we also looked at some professions. We've got 44 minutes. We looked at some professions, and we have, for example, actor, and unsurprisingly, there's a feminine version of certain professions. So I'll give you a few just for the sake of it now. Acteur. So that's a male actor. Pour les femmes, actrice. Is for acteur, actrice. You'll see that a lot with professions. Things that end in in the masculine will be ris in the feminine. Here's another example. For example, présentateur. Someone who presents something like a radio show or a TV show. Présentateur. There's the at the end. What do you think it is if we're talking about a female presenter? Présentatrice. Here's another good one. Robin, I think you mentioned this in class. Even before we got to this, you mentioned it, as if you knew. Chanteur. A singer, a male singer, becomes... Ooh, actually this isn't chantrice, but it is similar to another word we saw. Remember joyeux, joyful or happy? became in the feminine joyeuse. E-U-S-E. Chanteur becomes chanteuse. Female singer. Moi je suis chanteuse. I'm a female singer. So this is where you could have a conversation about there being some kind of inherent sexism in certain languages that are gendered, because I wouldn't call myself un chanteur. I would call myself une chanteuse to be technically and grammatically correct. However, I can't say that I'm just a singer without people, without telling people what my gender is. So it's not a problem I have with French, but other people can discuss like the issue of gender in certain Romance languages and others. So we looked at lots more different types of professions, and some of them have a masculine sort of noun, others have some have a feminine noun. Some, like these 3 or 4, I'll use 3, are gender neutral, so they don't change. So we've got things like athlète. So pour les hommes et les femmes. For men and for women. Athlete, which is interesting because we have the Winter Olympic Games going on at the moment. We have humoriste. That means a comedian, someone who tells jokes, sort of stand up. And then we have journaliste. That looks just like the English journalist. So, moi, par exemple, if I wanted to say I am an athlete, je suis athlète. Je suis humoriste. Je suis journaliste. So these two start with a vowel. So if I say I am, je suis, we'll come on to how you say I am next week, but je suis ends with an S. So we follow je suis with a word that begins with a vowel. Je suis athlète. You make the liaison there and you pronounce that S. Je suis humoriste. Je suis humoriste. But you would just pronounce je suis journaliste, because that doesn't have a vowel at the beginning. So yeah, we've got a list of lots of different types of professions. Some have their masculine and feminine versions. Some can be used and don't change in spelling or pronunciation pour les hommes et les femmes, for either men or women. What we're going to do next week, having looked at this kind of vocab and the rest of the vocab on the sheet, is we're going to play a game. So I'll give you a little sneak peek of what the game is going to be. Here are some famous people. Les personnes célèbres. So have a little look. Who might you recognise? You might see Paula Radcliffe. You might see Billy Connolly. J'adore Billy Connolly. You might see Mick Jagger, Judi Dench, Mary Berry, Donald Trump. So, oui, we have Shirley Bassey there. Elle est galloise. She's Welsh. Billy Connolly, il est écossais. He is Scottish. Oui, c'est qui lui? Who's that? Il s'appelle Graham Norton. He's called Graham Norton. Il est irlandais. He's Irish. Elle s'appelle Meryl Streep. Elle est américaine. She's American. Il s'appelle Donald Trump. Il est américain. Elle est américaine. Il est américain. Regardez. Américain. Américaine. Bravo. So we'll look at that more next week. We're going to play a very interesting game though, which will probably include those same celebrities you saw. So if you don't know who they are, clue up on them. I will send you this video link in my email. I will also send you the handouts, digital copies of what I gave you in class for your reference, and I'll include a link to Claire's charity fundraising event, the Gatsby event that's taking place in Saint-Pierre on the 23rd of March. And oh yes, your homework. So les devoirs. Homework today is quite easy actually. So I asked you to write down some, describe yourself basically in English, en anglais. It's very simple. You can do it 5 minutes before class if you like. I'd like you to tell me what colour eyes you have, what colour hair you have, whether it's short or long, etc. And then give me 3 adjectives, 3 adjectives, which describe you. So it might be nice, sporty, extroverted, idealistic, youthful. They could be negative ones if you like. And then I'd like you to tell me what you do. So you might be an actor, or an athlete, or a builder, or businessman, etc. And then if you have any children, tell me how many kids you have. You can tell me their names if you like. If you don't have kids, maybe you've got pets. Tell me what kind of animals they are and what they're called. Donc, en anglais, tell me all that in English. Next week we're going to be learning how you translate those facts about yourself into French. We'll be looking at, for the next 5 weeks basically, we'll be looking at ways that you can talk about yourself and also ask questions of other people. So, so yes, we looked at some professions, how you, a few adjectives. Remember, gamin, joyeux, idéaliste, loyal, etc. Lumineuse, lumineux, lumineuse. We've looked at how adjectives can change on the endings, and also professions can change depending on whether the person you're talking about is a man or a woman. What else? Nationalities, countries, and then what we're going to do next week is prepare for a game where you ask questions. So we'll be asking questions about, do you like this, do you like that, are you American, are you Welsh, are you French, etc. And basically we'll be playing a game of Guess Who en français. Thank you very much for watching everyone. Have a great weekend, bon weekend, enjoy your evening, bonne soirée, et à bientôt. Au revoir.